This is BeSafe, gun safety for boys and girls in Montana, a public service of the Montana Shooting Sports Association. Hi, my name's Ty, and I want to talk with you about something really important. It's gun safety. Now, I think you know what a gun is. It's something that shoots out a bullet really, really fast, often more than 1,000 miles an hour. That's a lot faster than any jet airplane you've ever ridden in. And you already know what safety is. It's the way to act around something dangerous so you don't get hurt. You know about some types of safety already. You know not to stick things into outlets so you don't get shocked. You know not to run out into the street so you don't get run over by a car. Those are some types of safety you've already learned about. So gun safety is all about how to keep yourself or someone else from getting injured with a gun. So this is all something that we have to take really seriously. Now, I shoot guns sometimes as an adult, but I know how dangerous they are, and I follow rules to make sure that I stay safe. And I'll tell you about those rules in a little bit. But you should know that getting injured because of an accident with a gun would be really, really bad for you. And it would hurt worse than anything you could imagine. And that's why we take this so seriously. So we're here talking about guns. And when I say guns, of course, I mean real guns. Now, different families have different ways that they treat toy guns. So whether you play with toy guns or what you do with them is really something I'll leave to your family to talk about. However, there are some other things that aren't quite real guns, but they're also not toys. They're things like air rifles, BB guns, and paintball guns. And what we're talking about today is about real guns. But a lot of the safety rules are also true for any type of gun except actual toys. So unless an adult tells you not to, if you want to shoot your friends or yourself with a toy water gun, that's fine with me. But if it's anything at all, like a real gun, even a BB gun, you should always follow the safety rules. The way we stay safe around guns is to follow a set of rules. Now, I'm going to tell you about two different sets of rules. One is a set that you should follow when you're by yourself or when you're playing with your friends. And then there's another set of rules that you should follow if your parents ever bring you to a place where you're allowed to shoot a real gun. Now, even adults who win competitions with guns follow the same set of safety rules that I'm going to teach you about in a little bit. But first, let's talk about the rules that you should follow if you ever see a gun on your own or with your friends. Rule number 1, never touch a real gun that you find or you see when you're alone or with your friends. The short way to say this rule is just this: don't touch. If you don't touch the real gun, it can't do anything. It can't hurt you. But if you do touch it, it can go off, even as a total surprise to you. So again, if you find a gun, just don't touch. Rule number 2, if your friend or your brother or sister is touching a real gun, you should just leave and tell an adult right away. Even if it's your best friend, don't stick around to see what they're doing or tell them not to do it. Just leave as fast as you can and get an adult. Don't wait, just turn around and walk away. The short way to say this rule is leave and tell an adult. So you know what to do if you find a gun or if your friend is touching a real gun. But as you get older, it's possible that your parents or another family member or another adult that you can trust might invite you to come shoot a gun with them. Now, lots of kids live in families where they shoot for fun, or they learn to shoot for hunting, or even for competitions. If you ever have the chance for someone to help you learn to shoot, you should always follow these important safety rules. These are the same rules followed by everyone from kids who are first learning through to the top level shooters in the world. Rule number 1, treat all guns as if they're always loaded, and never assume a real gun is unloaded, even if you just checked it. This means that you should never point a real gun at anyone or anything, even if you're just pretending or joking around. The short way to say this rule is all guns are always loaded. Rule number 2, never point a gun at a person or at anything that it wouldn't be okay to put a bullet hole into. The front end of the gun is called the muzzle, just like the front end of a dog is called its muzzle. So we call this rule muzzle direction. With guns, always be careful about muzzle direction. Even though guns shouldn't just go off on their own, we sort of pretend that they could, and we make sure we're handling them in a way that no one would get hurt if the gun fired a bullet out of the muzzle at any given moment. For example, while we carry a gun around, It wouldn't be a very big problem if we made a bullet hole in the dirt over there or in a tree away from any people or buildings. Those are safe places for the muzzle to be pointing. But your own foot or a building that might have people in it are places that you should never point a muzzle. Rule number 3. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Your finger should be pointing straight along the stock or the frame of the gun until you're aiming at the target and you've decided to shoot. We call this rule finger off trigger. And rule number 4. If you ever go shooting, you need to be wearing good eye protection and ear protection. Sometimes pieces of bullet can come back really fast and hit you. And it's not a big deal if it hits your clothes or even your skin, but those little pieces could go right through your eye. So I always wear good shooting glasses when I shoot. I also wear ear protection, like earmuffs or earplugs, because you can lose your hearing if you shoot without ear protection. These fuzzy earmuffs don't count as hearing protection. They need to be earmuffs that are made to be hearing protection. For a short name for this rule, let's call it eyes and ears. Always make sure you have your eye and ear protection on before you shoot, and even when you're just watching someone else shoot. All right, now you know about gun safety. You know that you should never touch a gun that you find or that you see somewhere. And you know that if a friend plays with a real gun, you should leave and tell an adult. You also know that if you are invited to go shooting, you'll treat all guns as if they're loaded, you'll keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction, and you'll keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. And you'll always wear eye and ear protection every time. So now it's up to you to actually follow these rules and to keep yourself and the people around you safe. Thanks for watching. Be safe, a public service of the Montana Shooting Sports Association.